Welcome to season 3 of Perfect the Craft. We're going to go over 10 different grip breaks that you could use to incorporate into your judo, and it looks like this. Aloha guys, welcome to another episode of Perfect the Craft. We're here at Portland Judo in Portland, Oregon. I'm Andy Hung from Dojo Outfitters. I'm here with
Ryan Roberts.
Okay, we're gonna go over 10 different grip breaks that you could use to incorporate into your judo, and it looks like this. So the first one I'm gonna go over a nice basic lapel grip break. Okay, I'm gonna slide my hand down, and I'm gonna use the tension on the top of the cuff here to break his wrist down. Okay, I'm going to do it with my sleeve hand. So I slide my hand down. I'm trying to get his elbow, right, to touch his near hip. That's the angle that I want to take, okay? A lot of times when people try and break this grip, if I try and push into my opponent's arm here, right, I'm pushing into the strongest part of this grip, right, his hand and his wrist. So another detail for this grip break, right, it's not just my hand that works here. It's actually coming from my hip and my shoulders too. So if I'm just using my hand, we don't want to do this, okay? We don't just want to stand here and try and get this grip off, okay? What we do want to do is have my shoulders go back in the opposite angle in which I push his hand down, right? So there's two forces going in opposite direction here. My hand is going down to his hip, and my shoulders are going back up at an angle too. So when we put those two things together here, right, we get a nice explosive grip break. So it may take a few bursts to get this grip off, but once I get it off, you want to pin it so that we can open up other techniques, okay? So now we're going to eliminate this collar hand on us, okay? And over the course of a match, you might want to let this hand go to do your techniques, or it just feels so dominant you want to be free from this. So how do we get rid of this lapel hand, okay? One of the ways we could do it, I'm going to keep a nice low sleeve grip here. Okay, I'm going to slide my hand down. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2, I'm going to let my lapel hand go. Okay, he keeps my sleeve grip. I let my lapel hand go. I'm going to grab right under his hand. Okay, so where his hand is, my hand bottoms out on his hand, and I'm going to grab my own lapel. So I'm almost like literally mirroring his grip. Okay, and now from here, two things are going to happen. I'm going to open my body up. Okay, I'm going to peel my lapel hand out of his grip. Here. Okay. So one more time, I slide my hand down, I let my lapel hand go. I want to match his grip perfectly. Okay, I'm going to turn my shoulders and explode my shoulder out and rip that hand away. So another angle for this grip break, I'm going to slide my hand down, okay? I'm going to let go of my lapel hand, right, and pivot my elbow. So my elbow is going to pivot, I come under, and I want to match his hand perfectly, okay? And now from here, what's essentially going to happen, I'm going to turn my shoulder and rip my lapel out of his hand. Okay? So now we put it all together. I slide my hand down, I pivot, I match his fingers, right? I'm going to turn my body and rip this lapel out. Right? And from there, if he wants to keep this hand, we could always rip that off too. So this is one that you could do in the dojo, okay? We're in this dynamic judo stance here. I'm fighting here. Maybe it's hard to get this grip off, okay? I'm going to use my lead knee to shave this grip off, okay? So I'm fighting here. I'm going to bring my knee high, right? I'm going to try and get my knee to touch his wrist here, right? And shave that off. Okay, one more time. We're fighting here. I'm going to step my leg up and punch that grip off, right? And that'll open up things afterwards. Here we are, right? I'm losing this battle. He has a cross-collar grip here. I want to get this free, okay? First thing I'm going to do, my hands are going to come in from the lapel. My hands are going to come in, and we're going to get a nice low collar grip, okay? My knuckles are going to go into his wrist. Okay, my backhand here, right? I'm gonna come through, and I'm gonna maybe cup right on the back of his elbow. Okay, my palm goes into his elbow, and now we're ready to break this grip off. Okay, there's that same concept of his elbow going down to his hip as my shoulders go back. Right? So when I punch this grip off, I want my shoulders to go back. Now look, we're going to suck this into a Russian tie here. Okay, my arms are perfectly set. I'm going to pull my hand through, put my shoulder to his shoulder, head to head, and I'm trying to get his wrist to touch my sternum. Okay, and now from here, if we want to transition to other things we could do, you could always open up your attack from that Russian tie. So one that we could do from here, instead of always having to have a grip, I'm actually going to let my hand go. I'm going to look to roll my pointer knuckle under his pinky knuckle. And what I'm trying to do is rotate his pinky right up to the ceiling. This is what I'm trying to do to his hand. So a lot of people will not be strong from this position, right? But they're very strong from here. So because he has a grip on my collar, I'm going to rotate my hand through. I'm going to look to punch my hand up. Right? Look how my palm rolls over into his chest. Okay? This is a really strong grip break here too. So if we're fighting, roll your hand up, right, and through. And now I'm going to punch this to his chest here. Right? If we wanted to, we could shake everything clean and start our attack again. Okay, so if we want to eliminate this collar hand again, I'm actually going to come underneath here. Right? Instead of being on the sleeve hand, if I'm normally a right-handed fighter here, I'm going to come through and grab a left collar grip. Okay? Notice how I'm inside of his arm too. And the reason why I want to be inside is because I'm going to break this collar hand off. Okay? So now that I transition inside here, I'm going to let my lapel hand go. I'm going to grab my own collar here. Okay? Nice and low, and I'm going to have some slack on this collar. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to use my elbow ditch to elevate his hand up as I pull my lapel down. All right, look at that explosiveness I have too. I extend my arm out, create some space. I could either attack off of this grip, or I could come through and kind of shake the Etch-a-Sketch clean. Okay? So one more time, but right versus right here. My left hand's going to come underneath. I'm going to get inside. Pointer right on his collarbone, okay? Nice and high here, okay? I'm going to extend my arm. I'm not necessarily straightening my arm, but there's a little bit of some give to it, but my arm is pretty long, okay? I'm going to let my lapel hand go. I'm going to come through. I'm going to grab pretty low on my own lapel, okay? Now, multiple things are going to happen. I'm going to punch and extend my arm up into his neck, okay, and adding some distance here. I'm also going to pull the slack out of my own jacket, okay? And those two things happen at the same time. We can't do one and then the other. What we want to do is explode and pull our jacket out. Okay, I really like this combination if we go in for a seonage afterwards. So this is one of my favorite grip breaks to do when I'm trying to get this lapel hand off, okay? Again, I'm going to slide my hand down, okay? Again, we're going to pivot my hand. I'm going to let my lapel hand go. I'm going to come through. And what we want to do is match, right, our opponent's thumbs. So I'm going to go thumb to thumb here, okay? So yeah, he has my collar grip here. I slide my hand down. Right, I pivot and I match his hand. So now, especially if you guys have really strong hands, this one's going to give you some options here. I'm going to fold his wrist and hand over. Okay, in judo, it's illegal to grab individual fingers, so we're not grabbing the individual thumb. But what we are doing is manipulating the wrist and the hand. Okay, I'm trying to get his palm to face the ceiling. So when I come through, right, and I turn this hand over, I'm going to break it and pop my body back. So not only am I pushing this hand down at an angle, I'm also getting my shoulders to go in the opposite angle too, okay? So it's not just my hands working, it's my upper body and my hips. So another way that we could get this lapel hand off, okay? Instead of coming at the bottom here, I'm actually going to roll my hand on top. So the best way to look at it is, right where his arm and bicep ditch bends, that's where I'm going to dig my fingers in. Okay, I'm going to get a gi grip here. And I'm going to use my knuckles. Right, my knuckles, I'm going to use it to punch his bicep and elbow down to his hip. Okay, so as we're fighting and moving around, I slide my hand up. Right now it's on his forearm, but when I punch my hand down, that's where I kill that bicep. Okay, this is a really good one too if you want to do a collar drag and turn around and come back. Okay, so here we are. Instead of sliding our hand down, we're going to slide our hand over. Okay, and it feels like there's a groove. It's his bicep ditch. That's where the groove is. That's where I'm going to attack. okay? I get a grip, and look how I fold my fingers in. So it's almost like we're using our four fingers, our knuckles here in this shape, okay? From this position here, right, we can't just push it down. It's not a push. It's an explosive break. It's more of a punch, okay? So when I get that grip, I'm going to punch it down, right? And now we can do whatever we want to do afterwards. So here we are, right versus right again, okay? And we're going to look to eliminate our opponent's sleeve grip here. Okay, so over the course of the randori match, when I'm fighting here, right, I'm going to look to let my lapel hand go, and look how I'm going to use his forearm to almost shave his hand off. Okay, it's not going to work if we go slow too. We want to make sure that we explode right through that motion. Okay, again, I let the lapel hand go. We want to explode through that motion. So it's actually his own forearm that shears off his grip. So my hand's going to let go. I'm going to come over. I'm going to punch my hand over his forearm here. Right? In that reset, I could come back. I could also break this grip off if I want to shake everything clean. Or if I let that lapel hand go and I shave this hand off, I could always just come right back over and get a dominant grip. Okay? Another option to clear the sleeve hand. From here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let my hand go. And what I want to do is tighten the gi up on my elbow and forearm. Okay? So with this Adidas gi, it's pretty tight and form-fitting as it is. But what I'm going to do, whenever you move your arm, it actually tightens the material around the elbow or around the forearm. See, if it's just regular relaxed, there's a lot of material here. But as soon as you tighten up the gi on your elbow, that's a detail that you could use to start breaking grips off the end of your attacks. Okay, so when we get this far, your elbow's going to come up, and now in this nice explosive motion, it's not just my arm moving. You actually generate a lot of power from your hips. So I'm going to almost like turn my hip over and rip my hand back. Okay, if this hand's still here, we could break that off, and now we can still work on our attacks after that. Okay, so one more time. Let your hand go, right? I'm going to almost ratchet my elbow back, almost like I'm trying to elbow somebody behind me, and use some snapping your hips to break this grip off. So another option we could do to break this sleeve grip off, okay? Again, we're going to use that same mechanism to tighten up the sleeve material on my arm. Okay, so when I bend my arm, that adds a lot of stress onto this grip already. Okay, now it just depends on what direction I want to rip this grip off. Okay, when I get this far, what we could do too is I'm going to almost like comb my hair, pull my hand back. Okay, and the important part of this grip break is actually just tightening the material first. Okay, that's going to jeopardize the grip a lot itself. So when I'm fighting here, I can move my hand back. I'll almost think about combing my hair and exploding my elbow back. Okay, even from here, that opens up a nice Taitoshi entry. Okay, nice entry too. So an option that we could do to break this high collar grip, okay, this is probably one of the most dominating positions for me to be in. I don't want to be here. Okay, I'm getting dominated. From here, instead of trying to get my hand over or through, what we could do and consider is coming through into his armpit. So again, I'm going to get a nice grip. My forefingers are going to curl in. I'm essentially making a fist. I'm going to punch it into his armpit. Okay, so we get a grip here. Now, maybe he still has my sleeve hand here. I'm going to bend my arm and rocket this back. Okay, now I'm partially free, but I'm still getting dominated with this high collar grip. Now, two things are going to happen. I'm going to extend my arm into his armpit. I'm also going to open up my shoulder, my left shoulder. Okay, it has to happen at the same time. So when I explode, right, we could punch that grip off. If we really wanted to, we could go into some Russian ties here, or we could just shake the whole Etch-a-Sketch clean. Case, right, my sleeve hand is being completely killed here, okay? And it's hard for me to be offensive when my sleeve is killed here. So in order for me to even do anything, I have to get this grip off, okay? So what we want to really think about whenever we get our sleeves really pinned down, right, we could also use our head. We want to use our head control, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get my head inside of Ryan's face here, and I'm going to extend my hand back. All right, so look at that. I'm gonna almost like freeze his upper body as I pull my arm back, right? Without the head control, if I just try and get my arm back, right, he could just follow me, okay? But the reason why this one works is if I could come in and almost freeze his upper body, when I punch my hand back and I put my hand behind my leg, right, it freezes the upper body and I could peel that hand back, okay? So in real speed, if my hand's being killed here, lean on this person, get your hand behind your hamstring here. So it's not just my hand moving. I get my leg involved, my butt rockets back, and now I could come back with that dominant head position. Hey, definitely give those 10 grip breaks a try. They're not all gonna work all at the same time. Definitely put your time in and get it to work for you. But if you guys like the content, make sure you guys subscribe down below. Follow us on Instagram at dojooutfitters.